respected principal, Dr. Sharma, our guest of honor, Dr. Pani, the professors on the dais, professors of the dais, particularly Dr. Mahdi, and my dear students. It's a privilege for me to be in PNCollege Seminar. This is my third visit to PNCollege. In last two visits, I had only entered into principal's chamber during time of Muthunya Mahapatra and then my professor C Mishra. I had just entered into principal's chamber. This time I entered principal's chamber also, but I'm very happy that I am with you all. Friends, I'm mostly a servant of finance sector. I have had the good fortune of working in banking, in insurance, in pension sector, and in capital market at the apex of India, as also apex of few other countries. But I do not have the fundamentals because I am a student of physics and I have started from the grassroots in most of the sections. I'll start with a very simple division. First, let us recognize the capital market where we will like to put our money. Once one of my students asked me, sir, how do you differentiate insurance sector, banking sector and capital market sector? And the answer was, the question had a beautiful footnote that it must be an intelligent answer. I told, how do I calibrate myself to give an intelligent answer? Let me try. I told that banking is bookkeeping, but there can be adulteration. Insurance is book burning, but there can be adulteration. Capital market is book building, but there can also be adulteration. What does it mean? Banking is basically, Schumpeter banking, they had told that banking is acceptance or deposit of money only for the purpose of lending and investment. And later on, of course, in Indian lawmakers, they added two more sentences which I am not deliberating. In fact, in that our C Mishra had a contribution. So that is banking. So banking is essentially take liabilities in dribblets and convert them into assets either in dribblets or in bullets and live life happily thereafter. It was all about bookkeeping. But then there was parallel banking, which acquired something of insurance, something of capital market. So banking got adulterated, it became composite and became supermarket. Then similarly, we go to insurance. What insurance does? It takes your risk, takes your money, takes your risk, and burns that money. And if the burning is less than what it takes, then insurance company exists. If burning is more, insurance company dies. So what a good insurance company does? It burns the money prudently so that it acquires sufficient level of money to burn it enough to remain alive after mitigating the burning. So this is called book burning. So what is left out is book building. So what capital market should do is to take your money and see the opportunity all around and build your book. Go on building the book. If the book is positively built, the market thrives and the customer's black box of the financial sector. Now we talk about capital market. What is the capital? How does capital market organize itself, which gives us confidence? Y.B. Reddy, who later on became Governor of Reserve Bank of India. So Dr. Reddy was telling that one of my retired economist friend came to me and told that he had put all his retirement asset in a particular bank and I closed that bank. And he was very angry with me. I told him, when your wife goes for purchasing bhindi, she goes to 10 shops and assesses which bhindi is right and purchases. Why did you put all your money without assessing the bank? And he said, so why do you blame me? So my turn came, I told Dr. Reddy, bhindi doesn't have an RBI stamp. The banks have got RBI stamp. Because bhindi doesn't have a stamp, we go and search which is the best. That is called heuristic, we find out the best. But here, we do not go by the bank, we go by the stamp of RBI, which has got a solidity in the Indian mind. Because RBI means it's confidence. So don't give that stamp. That's where you have committed the crime. If you were to close that bank, you should have given a warning to the public that be careful, though we have given the stamp to this bank may sink. You have to give the warning. There should be only warning system. Similarly, that is possible in banking, but it was not done. But fortunately, RBI in India has acted in such a way, though banks have failed, India has not failed. There is no cascading effect. Many countries cascading effect has happened. In India, it has not happened. Now we come to capital market. Does such a warning signal exist in capital market? Doesn't. Because capital market is highly dispersed. It is not so much unitized or event anchored like banking. Because it is highly dispersed. For example, right in 1992, we used to have about 6,000 companies to look for investment. And if you look at the newspaper of 1992, find 30 Sensex companies of 1992. So capital market is, there are exit and entry policies. What was top of the order in 1992? By 2000, half of them were not top of the order. And by 2012, 2/3 of them are not top of the order. And maybe, 100 years back, when Khurda was fighting for the freedom, capital market of India was also taking birth at that time. In 1912, we had the act called Insurance Act. In 1938, that act was revised. After 1938, it was not revised. There was just incrementalism. There was the IID Act 1999, which was the incremental administrative act, not a Magna Carta, fundamental act. So when we wanted to have a Magna Carta, new Magna Carta, we found nothing of 1938 is valid because all of them are dimensioned means calibrated to the economics of that time. And all the companies in which insurance companies could have invested, because ultimately insurance company will go to capital market, invested, those companies do not exist in India now. And including the Great East Indian Company. So what happens? Now everything has to change. All have to be recalibrated. That means we should learn a lesson that since those companies do not exist today, what companies we include today will not exist after 30 years. So that's why we should not now name the companies. Now we should calibrate the dimensions and mark it to macroeconomic fundamentals. There are various, like GDP is a macroeconomic fundamental. There are various macroeconomic fundamentals. So we have to calibrate it to macroeconomic fundamental so that people will have a direct message without waiting for a 22-party coalition not being able to enact a regulation even after 1938. So that's why in capital market don't rely on like RBI type of policy because there no such. SEBI cannot have a policy like that. It has to be time stamped. Every day is another day. In case of Reserve Bank of India, every day is not another day. The banks have got a high steady operation. Though they are quite portfolioed, they are high steady operation. But in capital market, such high steady operation is weak. I'll give you the instance of is balance sheet. I'll give you a simple mathematical example. Suppose you have got a balance sheet which shows profit. Is it a profit? See the example. I have got 100 rupees and only asset available in the market is 400 rupees. So I cannot buy because I have got 100 rupees. And I go to Sharma sir, I say, sir, you have got 300 rupees, why don't you give me? Sharma sir will say that I am exporting commerce. Why should I give you my 300? You poor fellow has got 100 rupees, give me that 100 rupees to me. I told sir, but I have got a investment idea. You tell me what is your expectation of return. Sharma sir says, I want 10 rupees for 100, 30 rupees for 300. I told sir, guaranteed. Give me 300. Or else, if you take from my 100, how much you will pay for my 100? You will say, send 10 rupees. I don't know, no, sir. You don't know where is the investment. Find out the investment. You are endangering my 100 rupees, so I will require 20 rupees. He told, why 20? My 300 of 110%. So it will be black box war between my buyer mind and his buyer mind, and ultimately whoever is vulnerable will part with the money. Suppose Sharma Sahib doesn't have the knowledge of that 400 rupee asset, he will say that instead of keeping 300 rupees as stone or some potato chips, let me give it to him. He is prepared to give me 10 rupees. So assuming that he is not, but assuming that he is vulnerable, he gives me 300 rupees. So now I have got a 400, I get that asset for 400 rupees. And that asset is a productive asset, so I earn 35 rupees from that asset. And pay Sharma Sahib 30 rupees. Now I have got a balance sheet which will show 5 rupee profit, isn't it? It will show 5 rupees. Is it a good balance sheet? I have given a guarantee of 10 rupees per 100 rupees and risk my 100 rupees and get 5 rupees. So though I have made a profit, I have made economic loss. Because I should have got 10 plus rupees, 10 rupees for my money, plus rupee for the guarantee I give to Sharma Sahib. If I don't get that 10 plus rupees in my balance sheet is a poor balance sheet, even if it is making profit. So this is capital market. If my balance sheet is making 10 minus or even 10 rupee profit, then I am not building the book. I am burning the book like insurer rather than building the book like capital market. So balance sheet is no indicator per se, even if it is making profit. I have to delve into the balance sheet and find out the economics of the balance sheet. So for that, do Ramchandra Majid, who has money and want to invest in capital market, does he have this knowledge to do so? He must have some standardization. He must have some message from the society. Like he can see things and buy. When he wants to buy brinjal, he should see things and should buy something, some opportunity. Opportunity is a wasting asset. Opportunity is a wasting asset. If a cow is giving you milk and you feel tired that day and don't want to draw that milk becomes waste. Next day that milk will not come, some other milk will come. And if you don't milk the cow for 30 days, it's not a bonus to the cow. The cow's milk udder gets clogged because that milk gets deposited in the milk udder, digested milk gets deposited in the milk udder, and milk udder gets clogged and cow will not give milk at all. So if some opportunity is available, if society doesn't harness that opportunity clogs the society's mind. That is what is called Howard set model, which our Dr. Jain Dr. Pani may tell you. So this is called the Howard set bias model. And if you do not exploit the satisfying tendency of the buyer lowers his satisfying level, and lowering, ultimately gets moribund. Similarly, if the capital market opportunity is not milked, the capital market of the country shares. And the country again to revive it takes ages for activating the black box of the buyer's mind all over the country, because buyer's mind is not connected. It is separated mind. But fortunately there are two syndromes. One is called kinship syndrome and the other is called horde syndrome. The kinship syndrome, if you can stimulate some minds by kinship syndrome, if suppose my cousin has got some money from capital market, by kinship syndrome, even without understanding, I jump to capital market. This is called kinship syndrome. And if 10 such kins, they create some money in capital market that has happened in K12 phenomena, that Ketan's 12 phenomena. If they can do it, then it becomes a horde syndrome. And when it becomes horde syndrome, there has to be institutions. If the institutions are not there, then it becomes scam. Because greed has no level. There is enough opportunity in the country for everybody need, but there is not enough opportunity for the level of greed, because greed is not contained. Greed is always uncontained. So that's why we require institution. And in India, in the world, such an institution called IOSCO. In India, we have such an institution called SEBI. And institutions previously used to be like police stations. Now, world mentality has changed. It has to control and it has to develop. It has to control, it has to develop to create a virtuous cycle. For doing this, we have to change our controlling system like SEBI-like system or IOSCO-like system from what is called license Raj or what is called rule-based to principle-based. Now capital market in the world is changing from rule-based to principle-based. That means principles will be laid. You register yourself and comply. And for complying, there will be two types of supervision, where your majesty will be needed. One is called, as students, when you graduate, you will be needed there. Your talent will be needed there. What are the two? One is called on-site, the other is called off-site. You cannot go to on-site and supervise everybody. Are you right? Are you right? Are you right? That will be very costly. So that's why there should be a mechanism of off-site supervision. And for that there should be some MIS, Management Information System. So that is how the regulator runs. Then regulator, what he does? He creates institutions. The institution in banking, there is a monoline institution, banking. But in capital market, the institution is not monoline. There is nothing like a banking institution. There has to be a broker, there has to be like NSDL, the security deposit, there has to be stock holding, there has to be exchanges, there has to be primary dealers, there has to be, in fact, about venture capitalists, there has to be asset managers, there has to be trusts, and all these things together, 243 institutions have been identified in India who are engaged in capital market. There are 243 opportunities for people like you. And all institutions are in various stages of rudimentary. The more rudimentary the institution, more is the opportunity available for growth. In fact, most of them are being manned by some retired oldies like us, because youngsters have not yet been groomed. You know, as I jocularly say, if my grandfather was very rich but very miser, I was very unhappy with my grandfather because he is very rich but very miser. He never used to give me money. But unfortunately, my grandfather died. I am unhappy that my grandfather died, but after that unhappiness is over. I am very happy that he left all money for us, me now. So similarly, if people have not done that job well, if capital market in India has not done job well, you should not be unhappy. You should be happy because they have left all the opportunity for you now. Only their opportunity they have lost. Now your opportunity is available, and such an opportunity in India is available. For your information, the market capitalization of Indian capital market is going to be #1 by 2025 in the world. The GDP of India at this point of time is about $1,017, which will be $3,020 by $3,200 by 2020, and by 2025 numerically it will be either #1 or near #1. Because there is a demographic dividend waiting for India. It has already started since 2002. It is operating. That is called real invisible hand of God, not ephemeral invisible hand of God propounded by economists. What is real what is real invisible hand of God? Indian population was a pyramid when we got independence. You must have heard advertisement, जगह नहीं है, इतने सारे बच्चे के साथ बस में travel कर रहे हैं. That was the negative advertisement. Now same India has become a market. Why? Our population was suffering from infrastructural problem. By infrastructure, I do not say road infrastructure. The basic need of human being, like the food problem. Now that food problem of India is solved. 235 million tons of food grains, are available with us, and it has got potential to increase to 350 million tons in next 10 years. So because of this, the Indians are no longer beggars for food like we were in Indira Gandhi days. Now we are a market, and because we have converted ourselves into a market, now what we want, we don't want as begging. What we want as people who can have investment absorption power. that is where our capital market is being strengthened. Because now no longer people are giving us loan as money. They are giving us investment, even foreigners. So FDI and FII, like they were choosing China, they are choosing India, and that is becoming a support of India. So for that, our institutional spread has to be adequate and pure. And intermittent pulses are there, scams are there, and that jolts us. But fortunately, you must have seen when Congress was about to be installed, there was a jolt in Indian market. India market could have, capital market could have gone both ways. If that day, the SEBI chairman, on that day he was in Istanbul, he was telephoned, what should we do? Now the market has crashed. His one decision has changed India's capital market, but his one decision will be remembered forever. He was given pressure from political parties to close the capital market. He told that if I close the capital market, that will be the dooms of the capital market. And the confidence on capital market of India all over the world will sink. They will sink. So what he did, he took the risk and told open the capital market. And I tell you, rest is history. And now people have got maximum faith. They are taking India's advice how to run their capital market. Because of that one decision that keep it open when it was falling and Manmohan Singh and Mr. Jaswant Singh both came to the streets, tell that we are solving our problem, we'll soon install a ministry, don't worry, nothing will happen. Both of them, they came to restore peace in Indian market. So that's why it's highly sensitive to political developments. So that is the event risk. Russian capital market almost sank when Gorbachev was kidnapped. So that's why capital market is highly event sensitive. So your fundamentals you should keep right. How you will know the fundamental? Fundamental you know from the product display. There are product processes. The processes should be robust. You should know the person whom you are recognized today as the broker. He is not a fly-by-night operator. He remains a broker to service you. So product, processes, procedures, they should be high steady. And apart from that, the people, when they give their money, there will be volatility in the capital market. It is up to people to take the decision, but they should take an informed decision. Now, information is not lacking, like a professor was telling in the morning. Now, internet can give you all information. In fact, professors are in competition with internet these days. You know, you have to do something more or something extra than internet to be popular in the classroom, to be useful in the classroom. You have to influence practice here and now. The cow has to be milked today, not after learning. So students, when they learn, they must influence practice here and now. If IIMs have become Ivy League, because their students are great, not because their teachers are great. Their students can influence practice. They can straightway go and lead the market. So that's why the capital market needs in fact the human resource backup. Last backup is human resource backup. And India, only thing that is lacking in India is full of human. The other day I was invited as the 10th speaker of Amo Odisha, which is done, you know, on Madhubabu every year. So when I came, I was asked that what are the resources of Odisha. I told there are 4 resources of Odisha. The first resource of Odisha is Odisha's rivers. The second resource of Odisha's mines. The third resource of Odisha, first is river, second is mine, and third resource of Odisha is Odisha's population. The most important resource is Odisha's population. And what is the fourth resource of Odisha? The fourth resource of Odisha is Odisha's forest. Forest comes fourth, but third comes the Odisha's population. But population has been always looked as subjects of Odisha rather than the resource of Odisha. Mine is okay, forest is okay, river is okay. So the resources we are having, that resource must be groomed to look after the gaps that are available in the country rather than groomed to become secretaries, to become clerks of secretariat, to become salespeople of some emerging retail outlets. that should not be overcrowded. So capital market has got a huge gap, but that huge gap is not properly patented, properly identified and diverted into curriculum. I go through various schools and colleges in the country because of my recent assignment. I wanted to have assessment before starting a greenfield university. Let me see what is the need of the university. I go around and I find there are gaps in areas, but there are oversupplies in most areas. So capital market has got a serious gap, but in areas. That's why I tell you, capital market is a virgin field where all of you can seek your career. In fact, you will be insufficient for that. That's why when your college was asking me the other day, when the professors came to invite me, they told us, sir, don't tell high funda to our students. I told, sir, don't worry, because I myself don't know what is high funda. I have only worked, I have never bothered for any fundamentals. So that's why I am telling you, design programs for influencing practice here and now. What will sell? Go to company, what they want, assimilate the requirement of the company with your requirement, and I tell you, you will be a winner. And I do not want to, because I have been prohibited from giving high funda, which I don't know in any case. Like Rudand Rai, our professor used to say, the blind man is seeking for a black cat in a dark room, which is not there. So since the cat is not there, there is all other adjectives are useless. So similarly, since I don't know, all questions are useless. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mishra. Yes, friends, that is saying, if you want to know a man, you must contact his wife or his servant, so that you can know the man perfectly. And right now, Dr. Mishra told that he's just a servant of finance. He's just a servant of finance. And very nicely he has discussed the three branches, that insurance, that is book burning, more profit. And then he says banking, that is bookkeeping, more deposit, that's better. Then he says capital market, that is book building. Very nicely he has discussed all this. He cited, he discussed that cows should be milked at the right time. Milk should be drawn at the right time. If you delay it, then it will be seriously worsted. Now I request Professor Sharma to speak a few words to my dear students. Dr. Sharma.
Principal Dr. Mohanty, Chief guest of this morning, Dr. C Mishra, my old friend. Dr. C Mishra is an original thinker. I am very happy that your head of department has made an arrangement for recording of this session. Now please, at your leisure, listen to his speech again and you will find many clues. That is Dr. C Mishra, an original thinker. Thank you, sir, for even correcting some of my fundamentals. I am thankful to Dr. Mishra that he has talked a lot about capital market. And also he has given glimpses of investment, whether insurance sector, capital market or banking sector. It is for you to connect your IQ with EQ. Be vigilant. See the opportunity and grab it. That opportunities are everywhere. We are not grabbing them. Not only capital market, yes. There are investment opportunities in capital market, but you can invest anywhere. Sir, now Confucius once said that if a finger is pointed to moon, the imbecile will look at the finger only, look at the moon.